Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today I'm going to get into some Bears talk, continuing from our conversation this weekend. Mainly want to talk about the playoffs, and I want to talk about Justin Fields. So we'll start off with the playoffs. Last night we had the Green Bay Packers in a Monday night doubleheader. Very weird schedule, but we had them going against I keep wanting to say that again. They're going against the New York Giants, and they went down in the Meadowlands for a loss. So the Giants pull out an upset and take down the Packers, which I wasn't super shocked about the day of. So going into it like last week and all that, I wasn't thinking much of it, but the day of, or at least on Sunday, I should say, I was like, well, much like I was thinking about the Bears versus Detroit and how we were able to pull that out, and going into it, just thinking about the situation. Not that they're division opponents, but I'm like, DeVito has been pretty efficient for them so far as I know. And then the weather's cool. Saquon's healthy. I mean, I said from the beginning, I don't think the Packers are that great. And so it all kind of came together. Maybe it was the injury reports and everything else. I don't know. But I looked at it the day of that game, and I was like, I'm pretty sure the Giants are going to keep it close. Now, I'm thinking literally in terms of betting. So I'm literally like, I don't think the Giants or the Titans are going to get blown out. Now, I've had a little more faith in the Titans than most people this whole year. But that was before the Levis thing. But Titans obviously end up pulling it out too. But anyway, I was like, this could be close. And then the Giants ended up winning. So that was huge for us because, like I said, the Detroit Lions, in terms of our last handful of games, the Detroit Lions was going to be the toughest test. And we were able to pull that out with I would say pretty decisive victory. So that was good. That was good stuff. We talked about it. But then I said, okay, the Vikings and Packers are going to give each other a loss because they're going to end up playing each other. And I said the Packers got some pretty winnable games on their schedule. We'll see. Now, I wasn't writing off anybody necessarily, but I didn't think it was like, I think the Bucks are going to be like the real competition, especially because they're fighting for, playoffs for really the division now. And so that's more where I was looking towards. But hey, on the road, the Giants defense has been playing better. Saquon, they pulled out a win. So now we know that between the Vikings and the Packers, another loss is coming no matter what. And very likely a loss against the Bucks. So that just puts us more in the driver's seat to go out here and make some magic happen. On top of that, the Vikings just announced today that they're putting Dobbs on the bench and bringing in Nick Mullins. I didn't watch their game. I know it was 3-0. It was terrible in terms of score, but I didn't watch the game. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm not really here to talk about that decision. I just know for me personally, as I said before, I like Dobbs, didn't believe in him against most of the good teams. Definitely don't believe in Nick Mullins against the good teams. On top of that, Justin Jefferson came back re-injured, or at least injured again, I should say. I think it's a different injury. And so I don't think he's playing on a short week, and honestly, they might shut him down for the year. I do think moving to Nick Mullins might signify that. So even if they're still going for it, I just don't see the Vikings as a threat with Nick Mullins at quarterback. Me personally, some people might feel different. So I'm looking at the two that are right now in the 6 and 7 seed, and I'm feeling good. Now, Seahawks, again, we talked about that. They got another tough game. After that, they got some games that they probably could win. And like I said, this is all going to come down to the wire anyway, no matter how it shakes out for us as a team. Even, no matter who gets put out or, knocks themselves out, I don't think all the teams ahead of us, including the Giants now, are going to just be removed and we got a smooth, sail into the 6th seed. I think it's going to go down to week 18. And on top of that, the Giants will be facing the Eagles twice. So I don't necessarily think of the Giants in this conversation. But not much has changed from what I said when I first said this, that I think we got a chance to go to playoffs. Well, I know we got a chance to go to playoffs. I knew it, and that's even stronger now today. Never said I believe we will make it. Never said that we deserve to make it. All I simply said is the way the situation was, we got a chance. And now that continues on, and we'll see what happens in Cleveland. But stuff is getting interesting. Things are shaking out, and can't wait to find out what happens. Now, on to Justin Fields. This is a conversation that's been had over and over. And one thing that I have to check and recognize for myself is that a lot of times I feel like I'm repeating myself, and I have to check myself and remind myself I'm not repeating myself, because I'm essentially responding to a lot of the conversation I see. I see the conversation still going on, same stupid questions, and I'm like, man, this conversation's still going. Let me get on the mic. But I'm talking to people who aren't even listening, literally not listening to or are hearing what I'm saying. And so, and sometimes I have to check myself that, hey, you're just kind of responding to people who aren't even listening to you. So of course the conversation's still going. And I'm not silly enough to think that anybody that does listen to this channel doesn't listen to other conversations. So when I see these conversations are still a part of the Bears zeitgeist, and you're probably hearing these things, I feel the need to put my 2 cents on it again. But for me, not much has changed. And so I don't know what that was. I don't know if y'all heard that, but not much has changed. And so I look at Justin Fields and I look at the conversation, and I come to pretty much to the same conclusions. I know who Justin Fields is, and I feel comfortable in saying that. No, I can't say I know what he is if you put him on the 49ers or if you put him on the Eagles. I don't know exactly what he is, but I know it's better than what we have now, because he's that type of player that would need to have that type of surrounding cast and that type of support to reach those levels. Now, that's, some people say, well, we know what he is with us. We don't know what us is. The Bears will change, the roster will change, coaches will change, blah, blah, blah. But I'm comfortable enough in saying that what Justin Fields needs to get better at, most of it, it's only going to come with time. It's only going to come with time. Yes, getting with, strong quarterback minds in terms of offense and the actual mechanics of the position, that's going to help. Yes, gaining confidence in the offense, where they're, giving you opportunities to look good because they're blocking, running well, or catching and all that. Yes, that's going to help. But to really be good at the things that he needs to be good at, it's going to take time. And you look around the league, for so long to see those different discussions. But I think for those people that are really confused about Justin Fields or having this debate, you don't have to look much further than the rest of the league. You talking about Tommy DeVito. We talking about just handed the Packers an L. Undrafted rookie. And that's a conversation that's close to me, so I'm not going to speak on it too much because I haven't watched them. But let's just go with the narrative that he's been efficient with the same offense that Daniel Jones was in. Okay, if that's true, look at that. Look at, even on our team, Bajent as a rookie, acquitted himself well for games at a time. Look at the Josh Dobbs story we had mentioned earlier and what he was able to do this year. Look at Jake Browning, a young quarterback. People said the Bengals was done. As soon as Joe Burrow went down, even with that offense, it don't matter. You don't got Joe Burrow. They done. Jake Browning winning games and putting up numbers. I mean, and so there's other stories out there to look at. Really, if you want to, look at Brock Purdy. So if you by this point don't understand that just because you're not a star in this league or a starter at quarterback, that doesn't mean you don't know how to play football. And I think too many fans treat it like that. They treat it like, oh my God, you're not a starter? You're not elite, quote unquote, which is silly because only like two elite people. But if you're not that, then you must not know how to play football. I must be able to do exactly what you could do as a quarterback. I mean, it's the same narratives that got people scratching their head about Jared Goff. I'll say Josh Goff. Jared Goff. And they're like, how can he be playing this well? Obviously, I know what we just did to him, but how could he be playing this well with the Lions? It's because you sit here and you get lost in the conversation of this team or offense, let's just say, is good because of this quarterback. This offense is bad because of this quarterback. And when you get lost in narratives like that are so limiting, you have no room to see other possibilities and nuances. And that's what happens too often. A good evaluator won't put themselves in a box. Most fans are not good evaluators. They're going to sit here and be like, that quarterback's good, that quarterback sucks. And that's it. And that's why they sit here and look crazy when a Zach Wilson has a big game. Like, how did Zach Wilson do that? And so, again, you have to realize that these quarterbacks, like most of the people in the league, are products of the environment, the system. And on top of that, they are professional athletes. They can do these things. It's not too many quarterbacks in the league, maybe outside of Boyle, that were just always bad and they're just in the NFL. That's just not typically how it happens. So anyway, that's my point. So when it comes to Justin Fields and you like, well, he's got this number or he did this or he made this incredible play and I can't figure it out. Like, it has to be the coach. It has to be Getsy. Even though we said that about Nagy. Even before Nagy, we said that with Trubisky and John Fox's coaching staff. Well, it has to be this. It has to be the O-line. It has to be that. O-line was great before Nagy came. And then it was bad, and no one wanted to acknowledge it. PPF, this is my people still quoting PPF. Remember, PPF said we got the number 3 rated offensive line going into the season. I was like, this offensive line is bad. This is years ago. And people, PPF said. So I'm just like, or Pro Football, PFF, whatever. This is why I don't follow that stuff. But anyway, so people keep saying these things as if it has to be one thing. And I know the sports media is going to do that. That's fine. But I see our own fans doing it in multiple places. Just be better Bears fans, people. Like, I get it. With somehow miraculously we're in this situation again with a good quarterback class, talking about keeping Justin or drafting a quarterback. So I get that. The conversation is going to happen in those terms. But in terms of this, we have to figure out whose fault it is and who's it. Like, it's so silly. It's so silly. And I truly hope people that are fans of this channel and are better Bears fans, you know better. It's all of them. Like, I've been thinking about this so much, and like I don't know if I said it on here, but football is like making it's like a recipe, and it's just like, who makes chocolate chip cookies and says, is it the chocolate chips, or is it the salt, or is it the baking powder, or is it, or sorry, the baking soda, or is it the sugar? No, you need all of those, and just because you use a pinch of salt versus 2 cups of chocolate chips, that does not mean that the salt is not a big part of the equation. It's like making spaghetti and like, well, is it the spices or the cheese or the noodles? Or, I'm sorry, the spices, the sauce, or the noodles? It's like, what are you talking about? These are all combined to make the product. And so, like, and it almost always comes from people who didn't play football for real. And it's just like I watch people talk either on Twitter, comments, fans, or I watch sports media, and I'm like, what conversation are you having? This makes no sense. I get it. There's times where you gotta kind of delineate, but as far as Justin Fields in this situation, this ain't one. This ain't Justin Fields' first rodeo. This ain't his first staff. You know what? You've seen it over time. And so to sit here and say Justin Fields is terrible and he's all his fault, you're delusional. To sit here and say Justin Fields is excellent and it's all everybody else's fault, you're delusional. It all works together. That's how a team sport works. This ain't basketball. So there's that. I do think obviously in the offseason we'll get to that conversation, but for right now, in terms of going forward in this season, I don't think a lot of people are talking like we can make the playoffs. Maybe they just don't see it, or I mean, it's more than likely people don't really look ahead of the schedule until this time of year, and it's only for to make certain points. But because I heard somebody say, "Don't look now. The Giants might be able. They still in the hunt." I'm like, the Giants play the Eagles twice. Do you see our schedule? So you think they're in the hunt, but y'all not talking about us? And I get it. We have the number one pick. It's not our pick. It's the Panthers' pick. They talk like that's our record. Like we didn't just beat the Lions. The Giants just beat the Packers. So I'm just like, okay. Well, whatever. We're not going to get too deep into that. The point is we go for it, try to win out, and then see if we could get into the playoffs. At that point, all gloves is off. It's just a party, in my opinion. We'll see what we can do with it. But the way it's trending now this is the good stuff, because I said this before, and pay attention. The way it's trending now, because it's a possibility, but very low. Very low possibility the NFC South could jump the NFC North and seed it. So more than likely, the Lions are going to be 3. Because, I don't see them catching up with Eagles or San Fran. So if the Lions end up 3, and if we get in, more than likely it'll be the 7th seed. We will play the Lions again. And so now you talking about me giving us a chance on I wouldn't say random, but a random any given Sunday. You think I'm gonna give us a chance in a playoff game against the Lions? Absolutely. And that's when the conversation really gonna go crazy, because if we could go in there and beat them again, oh my God. So, I mean, now, anybody else, honestly, 49ers, Dallas, Philly, maybe not Tampa, but anybody else, I would say, I'm not giving the Bears no chance. But the Lions, man, we could get a playoff. But hey, we got to win first. Got to beat Cleveland, and we'll figure out the rest as we go. But yeah, Justin Fields, as far as going forward in this offseason, I'm not sold on what I want to do. I haven't watched Caleb Williams, so I don't bring all that in it too much. I know most people are like, well, you got to get Caleb Williams. I haven't watched him, so I don't have much to say on him. But what I will say is that, again, we'll get to that point where I could watch them and make that decision. I'm not sold 100% that we have to get a quarterback. I'm not sold that we have to keep Justin Fields. As I said the last time I checked in on it, at this point, I would lean towards keeping Justin. And that hasn't changed much, but it's not a strong lean. It's like a 51%. So I'm still letting it play out and seeing what's what. But, for me, it's never going to be a strong conviction because I don't know Justin Fields. I'm not in there. And they do. And they know, does he have the propensity to get better? The problem is, if they deem he has the propensity to get better, it's not necessarily guaranteed that they'll be around for that. So, those are tough decisions you got to make, and we'll figure that out once we get to the offseason. Anyway, that's it for me. Go down to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.